Hello, my miraculous friend. Welcome to another episode of the Magnify Your Miracles podcast. This is Reverend Frances Faden, and I am so grateful that we get to spend this time together helping you to magnify your miracles. And today I'm going to be talking about something that's so important, the one chakra that every woman needs to strengthen. If you want to magnify your miracles, if you want to be manifesting, if you want to be doing just about anything, you need to strengthen this chakra. And I'm going to tell you what it is, and I'm going to go through ways that you can do it. And I'll be sharing my experience with this particular journey. But before we do any of that, let's take a deep breath together. Put your hand on your heart. And we do this so that we can get ourselves open and receptive to really receiving this really helpful information. And as you feel yourself becoming more and more in this moment, feeling that divine presence around you and within you, supporting you, knowing that whatever you need to hear to magnify your miracles is exactly what you're going to hear. Let's take one more deep breath together in gratitude. And we can begin. All right, my friend. So the one chakra, I am an energy intuitive. I've been doing it for a long time, like maybe over 30 years. I've been talking to people's chakras and their energy field and become very fluent in learning how to talk with them and working with hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands at this point, of people, specifically women. I have discovered something that has just been true across the board. Doesn't matter what your nationality is, doesn't matter what your ethnic background is, it doesn't matter what your religion is. All women that I've met could use to strengthen this chakra. And which one is it? It's your solar plexus. Your solar plexus is the third chakra. Now, if you don't know about the chakras, I said I was going to be sharing a little bit more about them with you. I'll give you a little tiny kind of a crash course on them. The chakras are energy centers that are not physical, although they correspond to physical parts of your body. They're like the organs of your energy field. And so one way to think about it is like when you leave this body, what is it that's leaving? Well, it's your energy. Some people might say that it's your soul. Well, if it's your soul, these are like the organs of your soul. This is where all the information is kept and stored, and you can access it. And when you learn to work with your own energy field, you learn to work with your own chakras, you can access this energy. And often when people are feeling stuck, they feel lost, they don't know what to do, they have a hard time making decisions, it's because one of your little databases, one of your chakras is not available to you. It's the way I say it in our modern language is it's like that little database has gone offline. It's still in the system. It's like when you buy software for your computer, it's there, but you can't quite access it. So when we have traumas, it can be a physical trauma. Maybe you were in a car accident and you have something going on in your neck and that's affecting your throat chakra. It can be a physical thing. Most of the time, like 80% of the time, it's an emotional thing. It's an energy thing that didn't quite get processed through. And so energy kind of gets a little bit stuck there. So this is a lot of what I do in my miracle mentoring with people. Not only am I mentoring them and, guiding them as a coach, but I'm also intuitively dialoguing with their energy field to find out what's going on. Why is the energy not doing what it should be doing? And as I said, 9 times out of 10, it's because there's something going on there that just needs to be resolved somehow. But we often have chronic things going on. And again, that's why I work with people over time, is because chronic issues show up over time. Patterns will show up over time. How you respond under stress will show up over time. And people have patterns. Well, if I was going to make a huge generalization, the thing I would say is that pretty much every woman that I've worked with at one time or another has had issues with her third chakra. The third chakra is known as the solar plexus, and it's in the upper abdominal area. So on a physical level, it's ruling over the stomach, the liver, the gallbladder, the adrenals are there. So stress often shows up there. And the way that I say it, the way that it was taught to me is each of the chakras, the lower chakras, is the seat of one of your bodies. So the root chakra is your physical body. Your second chakra is your emotional body. Your third chakra is the mental body. It's where we make decisions. It's our thought process shows up there. So I'll give you an example of how this is connected. I was fascinated when I discovered this. So very often people who worry, right, they're in their mind going round and round and round. People that worry, what happens? There's a stereotype, right? They worry, they get an ulcer. Well, why is it that if you're up, your thinking is up here, that your stomach down here is activated? Because you're not thinking up here. Your energy is everywhere. And the seat of your mental body is actually in that third chakra. And so when you're going over and over and over and over in your mind, you're actually stimulating that all of those organs, but specifically the stomach, and the stomach starts to secrete, and then people have problems. So the connection between worrying and your stomach is very well documented in the medical field. That's just one example of how your chakras and your energy affect each other. Now, specifically for women, this chakra is your relationship to yourself. Your relationship to yourself. So root chakra, relationship with like your family of origin. Second chakra, your one-on-one relationships. And then your third chakra is your relationship to yourself. Your self-esteem, your self-worth, honoring yourself, and most importantly, it's your power center. It's your ability to shine. Now, very often what I see with women with this energy center is one of two things. Either it's not very strong and they're kind of depleted, and they're usually depleted from doing too much, and usually doing too much for other people and not doing enough for themselves. So it can either be depleted or, and you probably think I'm going to say, oh, it's overactive. Not so much. Men's energy can be that way in that third chakra, men that are like, go, 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 go. When I see women, either it's depleted from the go, 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 or it's closed off. And closed off is usually what I see. And when I say closed off, what I mean is women hold themselves back. And it could be because they have mixed feelings about being powerful. If I'm powerful, am I going to be liked? Am people going to still love me if I'm my powerful self? It could be because they have mixed feelings about power, because we live in a patriarchal culture that we see negative forms of power most of the time. It's rare that we see positive expressions of power. And women often tell me, oh, I don't want to be like that, And so they'll squish it, or they just don't feel safe. They don't value themselves to really own and share their light. Now, why do I say women need to strengthen this? Because we live in a society that right now, at least, doesn't honor the feminine energy from day one, from the day that you're born. Energetically, we all know that we're being treated as second class. And I've yet to meet one woman, even women that are at the pinnacle of their industry or the pinnacle of their success. If you ask them, how was it for them to get there, or what was it like? Did they face any sexism? And a lot of them will say, oh, I had to work twice as hard as my colleagues did, or I had to, prove myself, whatever it might be. Any race, any nationality. I have yet to meet a woman that was like, no, easy peasy. It was great. I just walked right in and they were glad to have me there. Now it's changing because our culture is changing, because women are stepping up. But that's exactly what I want to talk to you about is, how do you start to own this energy? It starts in a really simple way, and it's valuing yourself. Now, several episodes ago, I did an episode, it's one of my favorite episodes, called A Woman's Path to Healing and Awakening. And I talked about how the spiritual path is different for men than it is for women. And that's exactly the truth. I'm not going to go into the details. You can go look up that episode if you want to look it up and check it out and see. But that particular episode, I talked about how, because we live in a patriarchal society, we all have an ego, but men's ego tends to be that they need to bring it down. The world was reinforcing for them all the time how great they are, how they're the best, because we value masculine energy as a culture. And so for women, we have the opposite energy, and we're not valued necessarily just for being born. We're not necessarily valued. And so we have this need to honor ourselves. And that's the thing that brings us into our spirituality. So for men, their spiritual path is exactly what it says in the scripture. Think about others, do unto others, think a little bit less about yourself. It's trying to get them to be a little bit more in their heart and not so inflated in their ego. But you take that same thing and you apply it to women. Think about yourself less, do for others. And then women's energy goes down. It doesn't get stronger. It ends up getting actually less. So that's one of the things I teach with my own clients and with everybody, even here, especially on the podcast, where I say a woman's spiritual path is the opposite of a man's spiritual path. We need to honor ourselves. We need to take really good care of ourselves first and then take care of people. And we need to really learn how valuable we are. Now, eventually, the way I see it, it's like, I look at the globe and it's like the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere, and then there's the equator in the middle. Male energy is on that northern hemisphere, and they need to come down to that equator. So they need to go south. So all of their spiritual practices are going to be about selfless service and that type of thing. Women, though, are in that southern hemisphere. Their spiritual practices are going to be needing to honor themselves, needing to see themselves as divine, needing to really raise their self-esteem. Both men and women, they get to the middle, and that's the equator. And then there's no ego left. There's no male, female, there's nothing. That's when you're just your divine energy and none of it matters. But as long as we still have some of that identification of our ego, we need to do the medicine that's right for us. So women need to strengthen the solar plexus. Now, there's a few things that you can do if you're not doing it already. So the first thing is, you don't want to be like this. You don't want to slouch over and squish your solar plexus as much as you can. You want to have your chest back, and you want to let that stomach area really be open. Any kind of deep breathing that you do that brings energy to that abdominal area is going to be really helpful. There's yoga postures that you can do. I'm not a yoga I'm not a yoga teacher, so I can't tell you the specific ones, but if you looked it up, you'd be like, oh, what are the yoga postures? Those are all great things that you can do. The color is yellow, so you can wear yellow. You can eat yellow foods. You can do those kinds of things. You can have yellow crystals like citrine and all of that. And all of that's wonderful, and it's all going to support you. But here's the thing. Those are all outer things, and they're helpful, but it's really, in order for you to honor yourself, that's the number one medicine of that third chakra, is honoring yourself. And a lot of times people will say to me, oh, I've been told to love myself. I don't know how to love myself. And I say, don't start with loving. Start with respecting. Is this respectful of my time? Is this respectful of my energy? And most people go, oh, I get what she means by that. Same thing. Is this honoring my time? Is this honoring my energy? If I give myself a to-do list that's a mile long, am I honoring myself by doing that? Or am I putting undue pressure and stress on myself? Those are some of the things that you want to take a look at. And then I encourage you to do a little bit of journaling about the word power. And when I say that word power, what's your first reaction? Are you like, yeah, power, bring it on? Or does the word power make you a little uncomfortable? Like, I don't know how I feel about that. Write about it. To really say, I'm a powerful woman. What does that mean to you to say I'm a powerful woman? Is that something that makes you feel, yeah, I love being a powerful woman? Or is it something that is like, I don't really want to be, powerful. It makes me feel funny. That's a really big piece of it. So undoing more of the emotional pieces, that's what I really encourage you to do. So simple things that you can do to honor yourself. Here's some questions for you. What would it be like to put yourself first? If you want to put a comment below, I'd love to know. What would it be like for me to put myself first? Ask yourself that question. How can I honor my time, my energy, my money, my ideas, my creativity? How can I honor my time, my energy, my money, my creativity? How can I honor myself? So this is a big one. A lot of my clients find they give their time away, or they're always doing for other people, and then there's never anything left for them. And they don't realize that there's a connection that's there, right? Let me think if there's another question here I can give to you about this particular chakra. See, the thing is that everybody's a little bit different. So anything that you do to take care of yourself, And yes, you can go do like people think, oh, self-care, that's a bubble bath. Well, for you, it might be a bubble bath. For somebody else, it might be hiring a tax attorney to deal with the IRS. That might be what self-care looks like for you. Self-care might look like for you downsizing your house and taking the financial stress off of you. Self-care might look like expanding your house and giving yourself the room that you actually need. A lot of it has to do with it is knowing yourself and admitting what it is that's true for you. Your third chakra is one of the most powerful, and it's really important that you honor it, because what I've learned is, we all want to be up in our heart chakra. Even me, it's like, I want to be in my heart chakra. I want to be in the energy of love. I want to be in the energy of compassion. I want to feel my deepest wisdom. I want to connect with Mother Mary's energy, the energy of unconditional love. Yay. That's the energy I want to be in. But you know what? That's like trying to get to the top floor of a building when the floor beneath you has, leaks and holes in the floor, and that you have to have a strong third chakra. Your third chakra needs to be strong. What's going to strengthen it for you might be a little bit different than what's going to strengthen it for me. And that's where it's really good to work with somebody who can give you that feedback. Now, you might know yourself really well, and you might know like, oh, this is the thing that really gets my energy going. When I'm really taking care of myself, it looks like this. But a lot of times, especially for women, we're disconnected from it. We're disconnected from what makes us feel powerful. We're disconnected from, even having the ability to make clear decisions. That's a third chakra issue. And if you're not in touch with your third chakra, it's like doubt comes in a lot of times, and you're like, did I do the right thing? I don't know. Maybe I should do something different. And that confidence is not there. When you have a strong third chakra, you'll be a confident woman. You'll make your decisions easily and quickly, and you will keep your promises to yourself, right? You're not going to be shy about sharing your gifts with the world. All that third chakra, it's the fire element, is underneath of your heart center, supporting your dreams, your vision, your deep heart's desire, right? So it's not a coincidence to me. The heart chakra needs to be in a good space for you to draw to you the love of your life. A lot of women talk to me like, oh, I really want to find the love of my life, right? Well, if you're trying to be in your heart chakra and connect with somebody, but you have a leaky third chakra, so to speak, your self-esteem is going to draw to you somebody that's not going to really be a good match for you, or somebody that they're going to match your self-esteem, but they're not going to match your heart's desire. So it's so important. If you can get that kind of feedback from somebody, and there are some Reiki people that can help you, there's some intuitive people that can help you. I am more than happy to help you. If you wanted to connect with me, you can schedule a miracle meeting, and that would be lovely. The other thing that you can do is you can schedule an Ask Your Energy session with me. Now, if you really want the support, then you want to have the mentoring. But even just saying like, hey, Reverend Francis, what is my third chakra saying to me? What is it that like is working or not working? What's happened? Like, what can I specifically do to help my third chakra? What would that look like? I can tell you, I can dialogue with your third chakra, and I can let you know, this is what your third chakra is telling me. It wants more of this. It wants less of this, whatever it might be. One of the stories that I love to tell about this, because people will sometimes say, should I do that? Should I get feedback from somebody else? Why can't I just figure it out myself? I love this story from the Bible. It's one of my favorite stories. If you remember the story where the rich young man comes up to Jesus and says to him, how can I follow you? I really want to follow you. What can I do? And Jesus just gives him kind of a flip answer at first. He's like, yeah, study scripture, honor your, do the 10 commandments, kind of like just do what everybody's doing. And this young man says to him, but I'm already doing that. I'm already doing all the things that are the supposed to's, but something's missing here. What else do I need to do? And the coolest thing happens is Jesus stops and he looks at him right in the eye. And when I read this, I was like, I know what he's doing. He's reading his energy. He's reading his soul. And he looks right at him and he's like, oh, what you need to do is you need to sell everything that you have, give it to the poor, and then you can come and follow me. Now, a lot of people have misinterpreted that as Jesus saying that's what we all need to do. But he looked at him and said, this is what you need to do. He already gave him the advice that was for everybody. You need to study the scripture. You need to follow the commandments. That's what everybody should be doing, right? But you specifically, this is what you need. And then the young man's like, he gives him a long list of reasons. Like, I can't do that. My father worked so hard. Am I going to throw away everything? Like, I can't do that. And that's where the line comes up where Jesus says it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. And people think that's about money. It's not about money. It's about attachment. When he told him, this is the next step for you on your spiritual path. And the man said, oh, I can't do that. I'm too attached to everything that I have. And how many of us find ourselves in that story where you know what to do? You know what's going to make yourself happy. You know how to honor yourself. You have a hard time doing it, right? I have a hard time doing it. We get to that point where it's like, I know I should be going to bed early. I know that I should turn off the news. I know that I should be drinking more water. I know that it's time for me to sit down and, finish my creative products. Like, I know what to do. And I'm so attached to taking care of everybody or putting other people first, or I have such a deep ingrained habit of not taking care of myself. Like, these are the things that happen. That's when we say to Jesus, oh, I can't do that. It's been this way for too long. And Jesus is like, that's your path. That's your path. You have to let go of whatever your negative attachments are. And the negative attachments are the things that are holding you back. I find that when I work with women, it's the negative conditioning that we've received from society telling us you should put yourself last. But if that were true, if that was a true teaching, every woman would be thriving. If that was a true teaching, everybody would be like, yeah, I'm going to put myself last and look at me go. And it doesn't work like that. It doesn't really work like that. So women really need to honor themselves, and they need to be clear on what that is to honor themselves. So I'm going to encourage you to think about that. Yes, you can get yellow crystals. Yes, you can eat, yellow squash or whatever yellow food you want to eat. It will make a difference because you are in that yellow vibration. You can look up, frequencies of energy for your third chakra. Absolutely. All of those things will act as an extra support for you, but none of them is going to take the place of you being willing to own your power, to make choices on your behalf, to make clear decisions, and to let go of any guilt or any lack of self-esteem, whatever it might be that's there. You know what that is for you. Any mixed feelings you have around power, you know what that is for you. So I'm going to ask you to let yourself just imagine, if I was the most powerful version of myself, what would I be doing differently? How would that look? What would my relationships look like if I was in my power? What would my business or my career look like if I was in my power? What would my health be like if I was in my power? What would it be like? What would my finances be like? How would I show up in the world if I owned my power? What would that be? How would I show up in the world if I honored myself and I treated myself like I matter and like I'm important? What would that look like? I would love to know. If you want to share any of that with me, you can leave me a comment. You can send me an email, whatever works for you. I'm here for you, and I'm on this path with you. And it's been such a journey for me to see how women's lives just open up from this particular chakra. Now, that doesn't mean that they don't have issues in other chakras. We all have our journey to go on. But once a woman has this chakra open and functioning, and, week after week when I'm working with somebody, we're not dealing with that. Once a woman starts to say yes to her own power and her own energy, miracles happen. Then we can start really talking about your sacred life purpose. Then we can really help you to be expressing your truth. Then we can be really helping you to step into the happiest, healthiest, wealthiest version of yourself. but you got to have that third chakra in place. You got to really honor yourself and learn what that is for you. And if you want some help with that, I would be happy to help you with that. You can set up a miracle meeting with me if you want to have coaching, or you can just do a single session with me if you want to do that and find out what is your solar plexus want you to know. All right, my friend, I'm so grateful to get to spend this time with you, and I would love to hear your thoughts about this. If you did enjoy this episode, if you're on YouTube, please subscribe. If you can subscribe on Apple Podcasts, if you're listening or wherever you listen to your podcast, that would be great. And the most important thing, if you could share it with somebody, share it with someone that you know, could be on social media, and even leaving a review helps me out so much, because you know what that does? It helps other people like you to be able to find the podcast. That's the real reason that I ask for it, is because I want as many people that need this information to have access to it. God bless you, my friend. And remember, the key to magnifying your miracles is knowing that your miracle is already here and you deserve it. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.